Do your young athletes tend to lose focus in competition? Hi, I'm Dr. Patrick Cohn. Today I'm going to give you a tip about how to help your athletes focus on the right stuff and stay focused during their competition. And I'm also previewing one of our CD and workbook programs called the Focus Sports Kid, which is part of the Confident Sports Kid CD and workbook program for parents and young athletes. You're watching Sessions with Doc. So one of the big questions that we get from sports parents and coaches alike is, how do I help my athlete focus better? Well, one of the things that you can do is understand how you might distract your athlete, whether you're on the sidelines or whether in the pregame routine. So there's some things that you might be doing that focus your athlete on the wrong things. And that's how simple I make it for young athletes when I'm working with them one-on-one, is we talk about what's the important stuff that you need to think about and what's the unimportant stuff that you need to think about. So if you're filling their mind with a lot of mechanical and technical details, then they're going to be distracted with that. If you're placing a lot of expectations on them prior to the game, they're going to be distracted with that. If you're making a lot of antics, if you're banging on the boards, or if you're jumping up and down on the sidelines, they're going to be distracted with that as well. I remember when I played high school football, my dad was really into it, and he would run around the sidelines and he'd be yelling at the refs the whole time. And you know what? That didn't help me. That was just a big distraction for me, because he was arguing with the refs about some of the calls that they were making. And that caught my ear and that caught my eye, and that just ruined the flow of the game for me. So the first thing is to help them focus their best. Make sure that you're not a source of that distraction for them, either pregame or during the game. Next, what you want to do to help your athletes focus their best, I call it focusing on the right stuff, is you need to help them identify what their role is, what their job is out there. For example, their role in, let's say, a soccer game may be to play midfielder. Okay, well, what does a midfielder do? What is the role of the midfielder, right? Well, to transition the ball when they're on offense up to the offense, for example, up to the front line. And so it's also to play good defense when they're on defense. So you want to define exactly what's the important stuff. I also call it objectives. Sometimes, that goes over the head of kids, but you just want to tell them the important stuff that they need to think about. The cues, we also call it cues they need to think about. And then help them understand what their top distractions are. In other words, how do your kids get distracted? They get distracted by worrying about their teammates, what their teammates think. They get distracted by mistakes. Do they get distracted by you on the sidelines? Do they worry about what the coach is going to do if they make a mistake? Do they have just random distractions in their head? You want to help them identify and list out what those distractions are. So on one side, you have the important stuff for their role, their specific role, their job, and then you have the unimportant stuff. It's vitally important that your athletes know that you can draw a line in the sand between what they need to focus on and what they don't, because often those two things are combined for athletes. They don't see a difference between all these competing distractions and what they really need to focus on. So you're just clarifying for them where they need to put their mind, where they need to put their focus. And then teach them, hey, when you get distracted, just stop that distraction, just interrupt that distraction, and get your mind back onto your job, your role, your objectives of what you're trying to do out there on the field or the ice rink or the course, for example. So if you want to learn all my strategies that I teach to parents and young athletes, you can get those strategies in one of our workbook programs called the Focus Sports Kid. Now, it's never too early to start your kids on this development of their mental game. Whether they're 9 or 10 or 11 years old, it'll pay dividends if they stay with sports through the teen years. It'll pay huge dividends for them later on if you can instill these positive mental skills in them today. Go to peaksports.com and check out the Focus Sports Kid today. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this mental game tip. And I've got a lot of other tips for you to improve your confidence, focus, and composure. What you want to do is subscribe to our YouTube videos if you haven't done so yet, and you'll be notified when new videos like this come out. In addition, there's another video over here that we've teed up for you to watch in this particular series, again on improving your mental toughness for sports. Hey, if you have a question, go to peaksports.com, click on Contact Us, and send us your mental game question. We can't guarantee it'll be in a video blog, but we'll certainly respond to everyone who emails us at peaksports.com. Thanks. We'll see you next week.